Hey, it's Brandon from Lakeside Survival. Now today, we're gonna make some primitive cordage, or rope, or whatever you'd like to call it, out of natural materials. Now here we've got some pretty common weeds, at least here in Ohio they're common. They're everywhere. And we're gonna take one and we're gonna make some rope out of it. Just a small little strand to show you how it's done. Now this weed right here will become our rope. Alright, now that we've gathered our plant, now we simply have to prepare it. First, peel off the leaves. Pluck off the head of it. And now we can begin actually making it. So you gotta find the middle, which you see is right there. And give it a twist. Gotta be somewhat careful with it. This stuff is dead and brittle and would love to break apart and ruin the video. But we're gonna fight it. Now, pretty sure it's called reverse wrapping. Now all we're doing is we're taking this hand over here, twisting it, then as we twist it down, we grab it under here and pull it back. And keep doing this process of twisting it with this hand and pulling it back. Twisting it with this hand and pulling it back. Always twisting the one on top. It will alternate between the top and bottom ones getting pushed up to the top. Going back and forth. Back and forth. Now you'll get into some weak places on your grass or whatever natural material you choose to use. You'll have to be careful on those areas. But you can make primitive cordage out of most plants. Some particularly good ones are dogbane and stinging nettle. Now, and those are local to here. I just couldn't find any for the video. So you can also use dead grass, living grass, and put it in large bunches and then twist them and make some thick rope for more shelter building. This will be more something you'd use for fishing or repairing clothing, something a little more refined like that. But it is a pretty simple process once you get it figured out. Now at first it'll be a little clumsy, you'll be twisting and you'll snap it and you're like, oh man, you know, or you'll be twisting, you'll miss it and you'll pull it up and you'll have nothing there. And it's not hard, it just takes a little muscle memory to do it. Now, once you're good and acquainted with it, you can go pretty fast. There's a lot of people out there and go a lot faster than me. But with my ability here, this is as fast as I can go, making some small cordage. But yeah, this would be ideal for fishing or something of that type. It's a pretty simple process, but it is a very important one if you want to be able to survive long term. As at some point you will run out of, say, your paracord, it'll be used somewhere else, and you will need some sort of rope to get you through. Now, this is a very common method that was used all throughout the world to make rope. You can see it's very easy, takes little skill, takes little resources at that, and can make fairly decent rope. Now I'm gonna cut back to the video once I have gone all the way out here, and I will show you the strength of the end product with this plant of how this rope method worked. Alright, it took me about 2 minutes total to go ahead and finish our rope here. Just a little piece of it, just a segment to demonstrate. Now this stuff, pretty tough, is pretty flexible. Way more flexible and tough than it was prior to being wrapped. You can see it looks pretty nice, honestly. Now, neither side of this string have a knot in them. No knots at all. Now, it simply is held together by it being wrapped back and forth against itself, and will be a lot more difficult to come undone. Now I do suggest, if you want to actually use it, You do put some knots in it, but for the sake of this, no knots are needed. Now, this would be suitable for fishing line. This thickness right here. That's primitive fishing line. And this would be pretty good. As you can tell, it's pretty durable. And you could totally bring in some crappie or some bluegill, maybe even some small bass on it. Now, that would be very, very, very useful to be able to make some sort of fishing line if you didn't have it on you in your survival situation. And this stuff is strong. Now, there is something else you can do with this that almost slipped my mind. You can twist it and get that same bunched up effect and do it another time. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you can make an even thicker, stronger version of the rope. But that's not necessary for small fish like bluegill and stuff. You wouldn't need to do anything crazy like that at all. Now, we'll go ahead and show you how tough this stuff is to break. We're just going to pull. You see it took quite a bit of force to get it to break apart. So, very, very handy, very, very useful. Good skill to have under your belt, and that is for sure.